Lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I'm not falling. I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and we're all going life. Still nobody knows, but I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago.
Voila! Ta-da! We are now here, our very first Losfer Fishy show.
Hello, Fishy.
Hello! So just a little introduction to everybody here. As you see, I have a co-host here named, well, her channel name is Losfer Words, and she does podcasts over there. And the way we met, well, was through the tubes here, right? Through YouTube, through live streams. And it's pretty interesting who you can meet here in, what would you call this, in virtual land. Because you can find people that can really help each other out, basically, because Losfer Words and we have a lot in common. We are working on our own selves to be better us, better people. And, well, like you had said earlier, almost like life coaching, right? We help each other out. And, yeah, if you want to say more about yourself, go ahead.
I met you through a mutual friend, and she's just a huge YouTube supporter. And she was like one night, and this was like months ago, and she says, "Oh, you got to go check out the Toy Man and Fishy show." And I went in, and I had so much fun. And it was really amazing. And I, had a really good, positive, fun time. And you guys both know, as I started coming around and hanging out with you guys because I enjoyed spending time with you.
Yes.
And then, like I said, you get to know people and you learn stuff and you find out about people and you connect on a different level. And so we became good friends and started talking about life and, what I'm going through, what she's going through. And it's just turned out to be a really positive connection.
Yeah, it's been amazing because we have a lot of things that we're working on that are very similar and very similar thoughts of what we're working on. So it's just really nice.
Yeah, it really is. It's been a really fun experience. And you had mentioned that you wanted to try some ideas for your other platform, your Fishy Fly Free channel. And I went, oh, well, tell me how I can help. And you said, well, let's do a thing together. And I said, okay. Tell me what you want to do. Let's get up and talk,
Yeah, and so that's how we're here now today, right?
That's what brought us here today, is just to try something a little different.
Yep. So have patience for us here, folks, because this is our first time attempting this, but we are hoping and trying to do this probably and maybe on a monthly basis. Or thinking we might do, it could be in live stream form, or we might attempt maybe podcast, whatever works better for us in our busy life, right? Because everybody's busy, and we'll see what works better for us. But we're hoping you all enjoy this as we talk about how we can be better people in this life, really, right?
No, I have never worked at a Cadillac dealership, but
Oh my gosh.
I certainly could, I guess, at some point. But um, when you talk about social media and life in general and finding that balance, that's really kind of the key, isn't it? I mean,
It
we
is.
all have crazy lives and some of us don't, but at the same time you have to find a balance between what your mission is or what you do or your content on a social media platform and your first world life. So it's interesting when we talk about how much time we dedicate to this platform or not.
Exactly, because it's that balance. Like we were talking the other day, almost any topic you can think of tends to turn around to being that balance thing. And then you, as the person, has to figure out where that balance is. Like with YouTube, let's say, you could easily let YouTube take over your life, but hey, you still have your first world. You gotta, you have life to live. Even if you don't work, let's say, you still have things you should probably feed yourself, bathe, all the basics too. But a lot of us have work and other things that we have to take care of in our first world. And
It's tough sometimes. It's tough
balance.
sometimes. I loved the intro. Thank you for putting that together. It was beautiful. Just a great song. It was real uplifting and positive. Made me feel good. I hope people in the chat liked it too.
Yeah, I hope everybody did too. And you know what? Maybe we'll play that again like at the next top of the hour. So anybody that's here that hasn't seen it, they can be inspired by that also.
Right, absolutely. I just loved it. I thought it was a great song. It just kind of resonates, right? And, great visuals, just everything. You got some good talent there that I do not possess.
Well,
Yet,
thank you for
yet.
the compliment.
Well, and when we talk about learning from each other, we were talking before we came live about just us meeting and how that's great and everything, but how we both can learn so much from each other, no matter what that could be, whether it's your knowledge of YouTube and the things and the editing and all the things that you learned, and me for just podcasting or doing my platform,
Yes.
how I do things, and you get to learn a lot about how things work on both ends, because you're always learning by watching other people. I am
That's
in.
right. That's right. You should always be open for that because myself, I always enjoy Losfer Words. Her podcasts always are very moving and I really enjoy them. And then she likes my editing and, we can both take the goods of each and enhance ourselves even more. And that's wonderful. Before I forget, I forgot to put this up. I was going to put this up while it was going so people know where the music came from.
That's right.
If you were here for the intro, the music came from Netflix. So it was titled A Year Ago by Netflix. It's a copyright-free YouTube music that you can use. And it just was so inspiring. I had to use that for
I
our
liked
intro
it.
today. So I
I liked
suppose
it.
we
I
should
liked it a lot.
probably
Well, and
say hi to all our peoples too, huh?
yeah, you should probably welcome everybody in the chat.
All right, and then we can move on to. So keep that thought in mind, whatever you just had on your brain.
Oh, I really didn't. Oof.
Poof! Oh, poof! It went all gone. Okay, well, anyways. I do see that Ethan was here prior to the stream. Good to see you, Ethan. Toyman's Bar and Grill, always here, always very supportive. Such a wonderful friend. Thank you for being here. Tennessee Paranormal Sam, great to see you here.
It's my broski.
Losfer Words, hey, that's you.
That's me.
Thank you for being here. And if you want to put your channel link in the stream at any point in time, you may.
I'm good.
Okay. Square Table, known as Joey. Good to see you here.
It's great to meet you, Joey. I was reading your comments in the chat, and go ahead, check out my channel. My disclaimer is that I use a lot of cursey words, and some people aren't into that, and that's okay.
Yes.
But hopefully you can see beyond that and hear the message. So I'd love to talk with you. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's true. And it's good to have that disclaimer. But please note that I enjoy her podcast, even with the cursey words. So if Fishy enjoys it, I think most of you would too. And that's my opinion. Hi,
you.
Miles. Good to see you. And then Toyman's on the Twitch end of things too. Twitch.
Oh, yeah. You use multiple platforms, which I do not. So I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, for anybody here that is wondering, or maybe weren't wondering, but I'll let you know, right now we are streaming on 3 different sources or 3 different places. We are streaming on 2 places on YouTube, Go Fish Office and Fishy Flying Free. Plus, we are also streaming on Twitch. So, got 3 sources going. I do see that Miss Cheesecake is here. Good to see you. Now, that makes me hungry. Now I want cheesecake.
I know. Don't you normally show a picture of cheesecake when she's here, boy? I'll tell you.
I do.
I'm all about the cheesecake.
Here, I'll show a picture. Make you just so hungry. See?
Oh.
Homemade cheesecake.
I could eat that.
It's so good. I haven't made that in so long. If I miss anybody, I do apologize. You can always do more comments down below. Shark Home Brewing, good to see you.
I missed Shark, so hi.
Yeah. Horror is here. Horror Collector, great to see you.
I love HCF very much.
Hanging with Mr. J is here. Steve's Place, great to see you. Babes in Toyland and Other Things is here. Also, Northern Ohio Railroad Action, as I know as Nora, is here. And by the way, Nora, I did receive your package. You sent me a nice Christmas package that I got actually last night. I do plan to do a little mail call on that later on.
Oh, exciting.
I think I caught everybody.
I think Steve's Place has came in, and I don't know Steve's Place either, so welcome and thank you. Yes, I did. I did HCF. I had to bring up the cheesecake. I'm all about dessert. I'm all about eating dessert first, and I'm all about food porn. So if you ever want to show pictures of food, I'm your girl.
So anyways, yeah, if anybody wants to share this out, and please know, like I said earlier, we're hoping to do this maybe on a monthly basis, but we'll kind of see how life goes, you know, see that balancing, see how it all works out.
Absolutely. So we did welcome everybody. I see Nightbot's in the house. Thank you, Nightbot, for giving us the weather in all over. You know, the weather's a huge topic right now because it is
true.
It's cold. It's really dangerously cold, and people are getting blizzards and snow. And so everybody be safe out there. That's no joke.
Yeah, everybody be safe. Yeah, because here locally, and I just know that Losfer Words here, she has to be missing this, but just kidding.
I know you've been razzing me about it for a couple of days.
I know, and you know I'm just teasing you because you know what? I would not miss it either. If I wasn't here, I'd be like, nope, I don't miss it at all.
Well, and my daughter lives in your region of the country, and because that's where I'm from. Is originally I'm from really close to where Fishy is. And,
yeah, that's so funny.
So she's been sending pictures, and she's been doing all of that too. So holy Hannah, it's no joke. I'm not seeing HCF in the chat either, but I am seeing HCF on the StreamYard side. So
he might be on the other channel because I have 2 YouTube channels going.
Oh, okay.
He might be on the Fishy Flying Free channel, maybe.
Gotcha.
I do see that Captain Jerk just swam in. Good to see you. But yeah, everybody be safe, just like what Lori was just saying. I know here locally we are under a storm warning, and that'll go until, I don't know, until like Saturday now, I think. It was supposed to be through Friday, but everything got pushed, and we're supposed to have blizzards. It's like -11 Fahrenheit last I checked. Yeah, it's just supposed to be nasty, cold, and blizzards, basically. Maybe some more snow.
Yeah, like I said, keep it up there, please. No, I do not miss it. It's going to get chilly here, dangerously chilly for our part of the country because I'm in the southeast now. But yeah, I don't want the snow. It can get cold, but if the roads get bad or anything like that, I hibernate. I just sit still because I drove in it my whole life. I don't want to deal with it right now, but I know it's dangerous for those of you who have to. So just be very careful. Yeah,
be careful. It could be very tricky and sneaky sometimes, with ice and all that.
But yeah, Christmas is coming. I hope everybody is having a good week and they're getting ready for their holiday stuff. I know that's a big stressor for a lot of people. Fishy had asked me before we came on. She's like, what are you up to for Christmas? I said, I was invited to a lot of places, but I'm perfectly okay to just sit still with the weather being as bad as it is. But I know a lot of people are celebrating and getting ready for celebrations and food and gifts and church and all the things that you do. And wow, I can't believe it's Christmas already.
Isn't that crazy?
It went fast. the whole year went really fast.
Yeah, it's just crazy, crazy stuff. Um, yeah, because Christmas this year lands on a Sunday,
Hmm.
and I think a lot of people then have Monday off for holiday. So
I
that's kind
certainly
of
do.
nice. But that'd be another great topic because think about it around Christmas or any of these major holidays, what happens? We can stress out, can't we?
Absolutely. It's a source of anxiety for a lot of people. Sometimes it's not negative anxiety, but boy, I'll tell you, having to get all your ducks in a row, get your presents wrapped if that's what you do, cook a meal, gather with family, and sometimes your family is less than desirable to be around. So there's a lot of anxiety that goes with holidays, and yeah, whew.
Yeah, because I've heard of people say that sometimes they'll talk to their family members or friends and just ask like, "Hey, can we like maybe skip the gift giving part?" Because I mean that can be really stressful in itself, not only money, but trying to find the right gift and then dealing with people in stores. For example, I was at Walmart here the other day and literally there was a line. And I mean, okay, let's back up. By the registers or where you not registers. Well, yeah, the checkouts. There were a lot of people already there. It's very congested already there between the self checkouts and actual people checkouts. And then there was a line going down the hall. And I tell you, it was at least halfway down this Walmart of people because I walked in there thinking I would get a couple of groceries before the storm hit. I went in there and I'm like, nope, I am not going to get groceries to stand in line for 4 hours. I don't think so. So I turned around, went to the Dollar Tree and went to Hy-Vee, a local grocery store, and I went home. And that was it. It was much easier that way. But
Yeah.
anyways, there's just some people that I have heard of that talked about how gift giving can be so stressful, on the budget and wrapping and all the things. And this one person in particular said she talked to her family members and really, what happened? They were just as stressed. And it's just like you just do it because you think you have to do it. And then after they talked, they decided to skip it. And then instead of that stress of the gifts, they got together and they like, I don't know, made cookies or watched a movie together or they did something as a family, an event, instead of having to do the present thing, if that makes sense. And it made it more enjoyable for them as a whole.
Well, and I don't have the same kind of problems that most people do because I'm solo and I have one child who's a grown adult. So I don't have
Right.
the stressors of giving gifts. And I usually just ask my closest people, what can I do to help you out this season? Do you want anything, or can I cook you a meal or whatever? And that
Yeah.
works out pretty well for me. But I know that a lot of people struggle with just the thought process of feeling obligated or having expectations about or worrying about disappointing other people. Like, especially if you have kids, your kids are like,
Mhm.
oh, here's my Santa list and this is what I want. And then you worry about the buildup and then the letdown. What if they don't like what I got them? What if it's not enough?
Exactly.
What if I offend somebody with the gift that I give? And that can create a lot of anxiety for people too. So
It
I have a
can.
tendency to just kind of go right to the horse's mouth and go, hey, do you want a gift? And if you do, here's your options, A, B, C, D. You pick one, and if they don't, and they make me pick one, then the expectation is that you're just going to have to deal. You're just going to have to deal with it. But I've given you the option to be transparent and tell me that you're going to either like the gift or, not. But you let them own their own disappointment at that point. Gift cards, absolutely, Captain Kirk.
Yes,
I
that's a
agree.
great one. Just cash or gift cards. That way they can go out and and figure out for themselves because that's what happens. We go out and get a gift. It's like, hey, what do they want? Another mug? Do they want a scarf? Do they want? I don't know. We sometimes don't know. And then think about this. This is another thing. If we give a gift to somebody or we receive a gift that we can't use really, we just kind of like, oh, thank you, and we keep it because we feel obligated to keep this item because it came from so and so and we don't want to hurt their feelings. But sometimes all this gift giving, what else does it cause? Clutter in our house. And then we have things in our
Hmm.
house because, oh, well, I don't know, Aunt Susan or I don't know, whatever name you want to use gave me this. I can't throw it out or she's going to get mad at me and she paid so much for it. And then it puts burden on us. you
Well, and
know?
I think too, kind of that adds to that is some people might need money and they just feel ashamed or embarrassed to ask. And I personally am like, hey, if you need cash and you're not going to buy a gift, but say you need it for a bill, there's no harm, no foul. You don't have to tell me what you're going to use the cash for. I don't
Right.
expect anybody to go back and go, hey, you gave me a gift card for Christmas and here's what I bought with it. That's your business. But at the same time, if somebody's too ashamed to say, you know what, I'm struggling, and I mean, there's people who have families. The economy is tough. If you give somebody a cash gift, let them do what they need to with it. And if they don't need to, and they decide to go get a tattoo or go, you know, buy a toy for their child or do whatever, then that gives them the ability to choose and be happy with it. And
Yeah.
you to just feel good about being able to provide that for them.
Yeah, basically
Um,
just let them have that choice, and you can just be
mhm.
joyous that you gave them cash or a gift card, so then they can make the best choice that they would like to do, right? Then we don't have that burden of, oh, geez, what should we get them?
Yeah, well, and there's people in the chat who are weighing in on that too, and they're saying, you know, cash is perfect. Gift cards expire. In some places, gift cards are better. And then you also have to be aware of the scammer gift card kind of thing too. So there's anxiety that goes with even receiving gifts virtually anymore, and
Oh,
so
that's
it's
true.
tough, you know. And then we're getting ideas now about what to do with the gifts you don't
Yeah, see
like.
that bad gift. Sell it on eBay. Throw it in the trash, you know?
You know, but it is tough. It is tough.
But in,
Um,
in in all reality though, unless like okay, for myself anyways, if I were to get a gift from relatives, to tell you the truth, or even friends, do you know how many people usually aren't at my house? Do you know if I receive something, I could keep it for a while, and then if I got rid of it, only I would know this, really. And a lot
right.
of people feel stuck. So that's another thing to think of, though. I mean, I don't know, in regards to your home, don't feel stuck. If somebody gave you a gift, you get to choose. It's choice, that lovely word that many people don't like, but you get choice even in that aspect. If that gift or product isn't going to serve you, you could regift it, you could sell it, or you can just donate it. And you know what? Somebody else out there that could really use it can. Because if we just keep things just because, then we are being a little selfish, really. Think about it.
I do that a lot though, Captain Jerk too. I do regift. I got a gift card at our Christmas party for work. And it's for a restaurant that I don't eat at. And it's not because I'm ungrateful, it's because I just don't particularly care for that genre of food. And that's
Right.
okay, right? But I'm not going to be ungrateful and be like, well, I don't eat there. Thanks for gift card. I'm just going to regift it to somebody that I know enjoys that food. And here you go. Here's a regift. It doesn't take away the fact that somebody was nice enough to provide the gift.
Right. You're still going to be thankful that they gave it to you, and then you get to pass that on to somebody else that can just,
Hi,
benefit it
babe.
from it more.
Merry Christmas. Thanks for
And
stopping.
just so you all know, there is a train. I heard it.
Oh, well,
So if
we
I
all know
drop
that
out,
Fishy.
if I drop out, Lori's in charge.
Oh, I'm in charge. Look out. I'm taking over Fishy's channel. No, I'm not. But I'll be happy to talk to the people that I can see in chat until she returns. Sometimes she'll freeze up when we're just meeting and talking about ideas. And then
hmm
I'll be like, oh, she's gone. And then I'll grab my tablet and play a card game until she comes back. You may
Hey, you
too.
should play Go Fish.
I should play Go Fish.
Next time, right?
Oh.
Next time. Oh,
Speaking of
that's funny.
genres of food that I don't eat, like seafood, haha. I don't eat
Seafood.
seafood. Yeah.
Okay.
Summer sausage
Yeah.
is one of my favorite things. So you know what? If you don't like the summer sausage gill skills, we can swap. I probably have things that you like. I'd be
No.
happy to trade gifts with you. I'll take the summer sausage. Mr. J, I do the same thing. If people are like, give me a choice and say, what would you prefer or what do you need? I usually tell them, I'm open for options, but personally, you know, I would rather you just donate my gift to somebody who needs it. I mean, that's me though. I don't need anything. So
And
it's hard.
Joey, no, I'm not on the train tracks. It's just every time the train goes by in my backyard, it wipes out a lot of the time it wipes it out. So far, I think I'm still here, and unless I'm sounding robotic or anything, but there is a train going by.
We're getting a couple of little
So far, so
glitches,
good.
but so far, so good.
Okay. Okay.
Choo, choo, choo. I know lots of people
Yeah,
like trains though, Nora. You're one. My friends Wolf and Hound do trains. There's so many people who love trains. So Fishy's lucky she gets trains because they would be out there filming them. They
but
would
I don't want
absolutely be
them.
there. Oh,
It's
goodness.
Nora's fault. Nora, you sent the train.
He just wanted you to experience the lovely trains.
Oh, jeez.
As
I'll be
Nightbot
happy when
says,
the train is gone.
don't forget to smash the like button, tweet the stream out, DM a friend. Thanks for being here, you guys. This is new for us. We're having a blast, though. I can't believe a half an hour has gone by already.
Wow, that went fast.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you, Steve.
Oh, I forgot to put this up. Yeah, there we go.
He wants to know about my tattoo.
Well,
So I'm
go ahead.
working on a full sleeve, and it's a half sleeve right now. I got a toucan here, and then there's all the outline for the flowers and the leaves and all that. So eventually it'll be a kind of a rainforest theme, and that's what that's about. I'm all about birds and nature, and especially the Amazon rainforest. So that's what that's about. So if you want to get me a Christmas present, I would love tattoo stuff. Gift cards to the tattoo guy. I'm kidding.
Oh,
totally
good. The end of
kidding.
the train. The end of the train is here.
You made it through the whole train.
Oh, I can now breathe again, huh? Yay.
Square Table says at the 45-minute mark, Fishy starts doing shots of Jack. Look out, it gets wild up in here. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I can see what Gil Skills said. You both have great chemistry together. Love the stream so far. Well, we better keep it up then, huh?
Thank you. Thank you. Well, and not to negate, Fishy and Toyman had great chemistry as well in their show too. And Fishy was on Toyman's stream last week, and I watched and I had a great time as well. So it's really fun to, be able to jump around and visit. I love being a guest on other people's platforms. It gives me the ability to meet a whole bunch of new people, and for us to just get to know each other, and it's fun. Hi, Lee. Yeah, and yes, Horror, I would love to go to the Amazon.
Yeah, so yeah, me and Toyman, we had lots of fun. And, like you saw, he had his birthday stream on his channel, and
I was there.
For anybody that knows anything, just know all things are good between Toyman and I. We are really good friends. We have, I have my boundaries and he's respecting them, and it's going very good. And maybe down the road we'll have like a little show in the midst of other shows. But you know what? This is really opening up a great adventure for me, because now, like today, Lori and I are able to start something that we're both passionate about for both of us on both of our channels. And then, like I say, and actually Toyman is happy for us and for my adventures, my plans of this too. So it does open up the box a little bit more, and to, fly free a little bit more. So it's really an incredible thing. It's really nice.
It is. It's been really fun and interesting. And like I said, and we know you're not, it's not taking away from anybody else's platform. It just gives us the ability to evolve, change, grow in different directions. Because I think for both of us, for Fishy and I won't put words in her mouth, but we're kind of striving to be the best versions of ourselves and be better people.
That's right. Yes, we want to be better for our own selves so we can have a happier, more wholesome life, right?
And on my platform, I always end every podcast with, wash your hands and be a better human, or be a good human. And it's just about that journey that we're all on to be better, no matter what that looks like, and we just happen to be doing stuff on social media to hopefully, I guess, inspire other people to maybe work on being better humans too. And I found that great positive environment with Fishy and Toyman when I first met them. And I went, this is a good direction for me, because a lot of my stuff is very dark, and my journey's been tough. So it's kind of the next step in creating that better positive environment for me. I am a morning person, Square Table. I am.
Yeah, so he thinks you should do a show called The Morning Lori. There we go.
If you put it together, it's Morning Glory. Get it? I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it. I'm an absolute morning person. I'm on the East Coast. I have a day job that I log into every day. I work 40 hours a week. So I'd have to do it early morning before 8 a.m. set Eastern Standard Time. And I don't know if I roll out of bed and I just kind of come in here and work. So I don't know if that would work for me, but it's a thought. There's a really sweet old lady, and she's here in North Carolina. That's where I am. And she does a morning coffee show, and I absolutely love her. And I go over to her show when I catch her in the morning, and I have coffee and I listen to her sing, and they're just what a great group of people.
Hey,
So
look who's here. It's Laura
there's my
Lee.
girl.
Yay.
Hi, Laura Lee.
Yep. She's getting her groceries put together, so it's all good. We'll be here for at least for another hour and a half was the thought, so you're fine. Don't spill the coffee.
Nora says that his saying is he always says, wash your hands and drink your soap. That's awesome. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, drink your soap now. Come on now.
Well, for me, drinking soap would be wash my mouth out with soap because I have a tendency to curse a little too much. But I'm doing better. I'm doing better.
Well, and see, the thing I think is incredible with people like you is you can have the respect to modify how you speak. Like you're here on my platform now, so you're doing the best you're able to, right? Mm-hmm. To be the way that you know that I would like it. And I think that's awesome. That's amazing.
Well, I mean, I'm a guest here, right? I want to come back.
You don't want to get banned, no?
If I swear too much or I use things that are offensive, then you're going to be like, yeah, that was a shit show. That was a crap show. I'm sorry, I did it again.
Oh, that's hilarious. That was perfect, though. That was perfect.
But, then you're going to be like, I don't think I want her back. Well, and to be fair, Square, I do. I'll use effing or, and I'll do the little asterisk thing or whatever. But you try to read the room a little bit and not be a total jerk face,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, hilarious. Oops. You have now been timed out by the host.
No, but see, I think he's laughing though too, because he tends to have some of the words too, and he himself would every once in a while have it slip. And you know what? To me, that's not the end of the world. If a person's at least trying, that's fine. Kind of like that hashtag we saw earlier, right?
Yeah. And to be fair, if Toyman ever wants, I could go on his panel. You can invite me to be a guest and we can talk about music and swear. I'd be all about that.
Exactly.
So we could totally talk about music and swear.
You're bad. What?
I am bad. I'm a butthole. Yodi-do. I am.
Oh, funny. But remember the hashtag and the little intro we had, perfectly imperfect. I mean, none of us are going to be perfect at any point, and we have to be okay with that.
That's a hard one for a lot of people because the expectation that everybody has when you're on social media or you're kind of I don't want to say influencer, but when you're a public person is that, you're going to be this way. And I'm more about letting people know that I'm human and I make mistakes and I'm perfectly imperfect. I'm doing the best I can. And I don't expect anybody else to be perfect either.
Exactly. We're all human. We're all going to make mistakes. And all we can do is, try to work on our own self. I mean, we can't change circumstance a lot of the time. I mean, we might be able to remove ourselves from certain environments of toxicity and stuff, but in no way can we ever change another human being, and we shouldn't try. We can only change our own self, our mentality, or whatever that would be, and that's it. And then you know what? Life will look brighter. It will look better once we've worked on ourselves in our experience, right, Lori?
Absolutely. Well, and it's hard. It's hard because everybody's journey is different. And sometimes it's really hard to divert your attention to recognize that I might be really self-centered in what I'm working on right now, but I still have to listen and be empathic to other people's stuff.
Yes.
So, but it's okay if you can get that mindset, yourself and other people, that we are all perfectly imperfect and judgment is not necessarily a good thing. Being a little bit more, giving people a little more grace, and a little bit more space to make the mistakes that they need to make and learn from them.
Exactly. And we all, like you said, and what we're just hitting on is that You know, we're all on our own journeys too. We don't know what a person's journey is and where they're at. So we have to keep that in mind. And I know myself, I want to get to a point where I can be happy enough with myself and strong enough with myself and able to basically put armor on myself, because we're still going to have people around us that are going to try to shoot arrows at us. And I don't want to have to put on their their things, I guess, whatever filth that they want to throw at me. I don't have to wear it. They can wear it all they want, and oh, they do not like that. If you tell somebody that, like, well, that's your choice and you can wear it or have it, and they're like, wait, what? It's
Well,
like,
and
no, I don't accept it. No.
boundaries are tough, and they're real
They
tough
are.
because a lot of the times establishing them as an adult, it very much has a direct impact of the way you handle them as children. And a lot of people, most people, have grown up with some kind of, crazy toxicity in their life that makes it so that we're not really good at establishing and holding our boundaries. And
Yep.
once you get to that mindset where you're like, wait a minute, I'm allowed to make my own choices. I'm allowed to have people treat me the way that I expect to be treated. And as long as I communicate those things, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make me a bad person because,
No.
I expect Fishy to treat me with respect and vice versa.
Exactly.
Doesn't make her a bad person for saying, hey, you're going to be a guest on my show. Could we, not swear so much, But again,
Exactly.
but I mean, that's a direct absolute about boundaries. You've said, this is my show. These are the things that I expect. And as long as I'm clear about them, then we don't have any issues. It's the
Right.
people who, just trample all over that. I could be up here, wah, 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 explicative, swear word, doing all the things that make you uncomfortable. After you already explained to me that you don't like those things, and that kind of speaks a lot about my character. I'm self-centered or selfish if I choose to do that, but it doesn't mean that you're a bad person for asking somebody to
Right.
respond or respect those boundaries.
Yeah.
And I think people struggle with that because they think that people should either already know and just read people's minds, and they make a lot of assumptions, or B, they're afraid to stand up for themselves and establish what those expectations are. And so transparency it's a huge word in my vocabulary, but if you're as transparent as you can be and your expectations are clear, it's a lot harder for people to walk on them.
Oh, yeah. And I've noticed that, as I've been establishing my own boundaries. And yeah, I want to thank you, Lori, because she's been a huge help in these thoughts too. But yeah, establishing boundaries, it can be hard. People are going to react,
It
but
is.
it's really nice. It's really nice though, because then the choice basically gets put into that other person's ballpark, and they can choose either to, see the boundaries and be okay with it or not. But I don't have to. I know my boundaries, and they can choose. They can walk away or they can respect. It's then in their ballpark. It's pretty cool, actually.
Well, it is. I think it is when people actually get an opportunity to exercise a boundary and see that it works,
Yes.
because most people are just too afraid to even try it. And then when it works, then they go, oh, well, maybe I can practice this a little more. And one of the things that I tell a lot of people who I, coach and talk to about real life stuff is you have to literally teach people how to treat you. And
That's true. Yeah.
it's a
Don't let them
concept.
just stomp all over you anymore.
Right. But I mean, if most of us had learned that skill better as children, it's the concept of make sure you share your toys, or, you don't treat people poorly as kids. But it's even harder when you're an adult and you have to unlearn bad behavior that you might have been doing your whole life, and you have to learn to do everything all over again. It's like clean slate. You got to wipe the slate and start over as if you have no skills.
It's basically just trying to gain some healthy habits in life.
That was our other
Habits.
hashtag. That was
Yes,
our
it
other.
is.
That was such a good video.
Ah!
You only got
I
20 minutes and you get to play it again.
in 20 minutes from now, I'm going to play it again because I actually thought of this last minute. I wasn't thinking about it till today, and I was like, wait, I don't really have an intro for our little show here. And so I, found some visuals and I came across that song, and it's just really fitting. I'm really happy that that worked out.
I agree, Gil Skills. I think authenticity is really important because you can tell if people are being disingenuous with their words, and you can tell if they're being genuine and honest. So if you can be yourself, I think it does garner a certain amount of respect, especially when
Yes.
you establish those boundaries with other people and they do respect them. It says a lot about your character.
Yes, it does. And I have to say, without going into specifics of putting up my boundaries as of late, I got to actually, you could say, practice that, if you want to call it that, on a couple
Mhm.
different individuals. And yes, there was a little bit of roughness that went on. I mean, they don't like that at first, no. But what's the cool thing of these circumstances thus far is that, me being a friend with them was important enough that they came around and they decided to respect those boundaries. And I know it's not always going to be that way. There's going to be people that are going to continue, and then you got to kind of block them out, or they're just going to, walk away from you. That will happen too. But you have to protect yourself and establish what's important to you in your life, because your life is so short. I mean, do you want to be a people pleaser to other people and basically live through them and be hurt or not hurt through them? Or do you want to have a better life where you have more control and say over what does or doesn't affect you or happen to you,
Sure. Well, and
mentally anyways?
Steve brings up a really good point. He says he's still learning boundaries because he's autistic, but he'll get there. And I think the really important takeaway about boundaries is that it doesn't matter if you've got, I mean, I'm neurodivergent, I have ADHD, I have all these issues, and it shouldn't matter whether I have some kind of a disability or anything. People need to respect you regardless, and they need to
Mhm.
understand that maybe in your case, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth either, but that you're autistic. People will take advantage of that and go, well, I can just stomp all over this person because they're vulnerable. And part of learning to establish boundaries is you have to establish with people that it doesn't matter what my disadvantages are. You still have to listen to what I'm telling you. These are my boundaries, and you have to respect them, because if you don't, these are the consequences. I'm not going to want to talk to you. I'm not going to want to hang out with you. I don't want to be your friend. And that's a you problem. That's you bad,
Yes,
So,
yes.
I mean, and you get to share to kind of, I'm talking too much. But you
No,
get
you're
to
fine.
share, Steve. But Steve, the transparency part is you can share that information with people as much or as not that you want. I would have had no idea that you had any kind of deficiency. Deficiency sounds bad, but you know what I mean. But I would have had no idea if you wouldn't have told me, because we're socializing in a chat and I'm just being
Yes,
respectful and I'm talking to you. But if you share that with people, you can tell right away whether or not they're going to respect that, or if they're going to be like, oh, well, this person's vulnerable, so I can take advantage of them. And
exactly.
that gives you a lot of advantages, because if you're transparent at the beginning and say, I have this disability, or I have this shortcoming, or whatever, PTSD or ADHD or whatever that issue is, and people walk all over that, well, then there's the door, pal. You're not going to be allowed to treat me poorly just because you think I'm less than because I have some kind of a disadvantage.
Right, because yeah, people, be it autism or other things, sometimes they think they're a lesser of a person because they have that, and that's not true at all. We
Nope.
all actually deal with something really in life. It's just some things some people put down, which is judgmental and wrong. I actually have personally talked to Steve's place, and just even talking to him, you would not know. You would not know that he deals with autism. I wouldn't have picked that up. He
Nope.
actually informed me about this, and it doesn't change my view about him. He's still a great friend. It's not going to change.
Well, we try really hard to give people, I mean, even me, give people the benefit of the doubt. That if somebody treats you poorly, you can go to them and say, I really don't appreciate that. And then give them the opportunity to redeem it and change and be apologetic and be authentic in their apology. And if they do it again and the pattern repeats, then that's where your personal boundaries become important. And a lot of people miss that piece of the puzzle that makes that next progression, that next step in that journey work. And then it just becomes a whole bunch of he said, she said, and a bunch of fighting and a bunch of this, that, and the other. And you did this to me. And people aren't listening to each other's side, and they're not communicating.
Exactly. Because, like, for some people that know, like, I deal with an autoimmune illness that can be very disabling at times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that a person can't always see. I might look somewhat healthy on the outside, and be running a marathon on the inside and literally can't move, or my heart rate's going too fast. And people just judge by what they can see at times. So if I look halfway decent, they'd be like, ah, you're just making it up. You're just lazy. You're just I don't know, you're just looking for attention or whatever they want to come up with to justify their side of, no, you can't be as sick as you say, but you know what? No, some days I am. And so I'm really grateful for the friends and family I have that understand what I deal with and understand when I'm saying something. I'm a very truthful person. I'm not going to say I'm not feeling good if I'm feeling good, if that makes sense. So,
Right. Well, and again, you pick your battles, right? I mean, we pick how
yes,
transparent, you know, to what Steve is saying, to what Toyman is saying, to what we're all saying, is we pick our battles about what we decide to tell people. How much information do you give people?
exactly.
And that's okay too. I mean, because we do have to protect ourselves, right? I mean, you don't
Well,
just say,
yeah.
oh, you know, you don't throw all your growth opportunities, your weaknesses, your failures out there for the people who are malicious to exploit, you know, because that's
Exactly. Yeah, you do decipher to some degree, but it's nice that with close friends you usually can be at least transparent and they understand that that's true of what you're
right.
saying.
Well, and to be fair, we're all our own worst critic, right? I mean, we judge ourselves probably far more harshly than the people that we come in contact with.
I would say that's true for the most part. In my experience, I have somebody in my life at times that I would say that person helps accelerate that, or did help me accelerate that, where I'm not going to let that be a thing now, because yeah, I want to be happier about myself. Like in the Bible, for myself, in the Bible, it says to
Mhm.
love your neighbors as much as yourself, or something like that. And how can you love your neighbors as much as yourself if you don't like yourself? That doesn't make sense. So I think it's, even for people that read the Bible, I think it's even in there
Oh,
that, uh-oh.
yeah,
Uh-oh.
I gotta switch my picture. There we
Okay.
go.
Anyways, yeah, because you have to love yourself to be able to love your neighbors. I'm trying to say, if you're supposed
Mhm.
to love your neighbor as much as yourself, I mean, if you already hate yourself, how can you love your neighbor? You got to start with you. You got to build yourself up. It's easier said than done, because this life is hard, and we can be really, like you said, we can be our worst critic. It tends to be, we are our worst critic. So if it can make us better with ourselves and not an enemy to ourselves, well, we can be a better us and then a better human being for the rest of the world, for our friends, our family,
Well,
and
and
so on.
and Toyman brings up a really good point. He says his mother has always told him that how can you love others if you don't love yourself? And
Exactly.
honestly, you know, self-love, it'll emulate outward towards the people around you.
Mhm.
But I saw something really interesting, and that makes me think about it when you say that is somebody had posted kind of a quote, and it said something about don't say that you're not that people can't love you if you don't love yourself, because that's the opposite end of that. It's a falsehood. People will love you regardless if you're broken, and you can accept love regardless of whether you have issues loving yourself.
Mhm.
But the key takeaway that goes with what Toyman said is that you do need to really dive hard and start taking better care of your own self-worth, and then that will shine out for other people. But just because you struggle and you don't love yourself doesn't mean that you are not worthy of love, that you should not accept love, or that you're never going to love because you struggle within you. It's just a process, and everybody has to attack it on their own timeline.
Exactly. Yeah, we're all on our own journeys and our own timelines, right? It's all going to be different. But the biggest thing is not to just not do anything, I guess. If you have things in life that you want to work on, only you can really work on that. Now, you can find other people that can be supportive of your journeys, kind of like Losfer Words and I, we're supportive of each other on our journeys.
Hmm.
But obviously, ultimately, we ourselves have to want to make those good changes to benefit ourselves to be a better person in this life. Because life really isn't that long, it's very short. So
Well, and to
make
be
that choice.
fair, and to be fair, we meet a lot of different people along the way. I mean, Fishy's different than Toyman, then who's different than me, who's different than Wicked, who's different than Nora, who's different than all of, Jerk, Captain Jerk. We're all different people with our own experience, and we're all in a different place. And you have to be really cognizant of being non-judgmental of where someone else is in their journey, because I'm older. I'm much older than Fishy. So my life experience is longer, and therefore I have more life experience than she does. So she's going to learn the lessons later because she's younger. And
Exactly.
that's just a fact. And you have to be really okay with accepting that, you know, somebody might be really broken and you might have already experienced that or worked through or dealt with. And a lot of times people are like, well, I just don't have time for that. You know, I've already been through that. And you have to understand that there are a lot of people who need your wisdom and experience, and you have to be a little more patient and understand that they're struggling. And if you can think back to when you were struggling, it's not easy to find people who are willing to help or willing to listen or willing to hold your hand while you work through the stuff.
That's true. That's very
And
true,
I'm
actually.
finding that a lot with the people that I coach and the people that I talk about life experience with. And gives me, it teaches me along my journey to be more patient, to be more understanding, to listen better. And I think that's really important because we all had to start at zero somewhere on our journey.
Yes. Yeah, so we started zero, probably hit that bottom at some point, right? And we have
Yeah,
to work our way. And, you know, that's kind of what both of our passions there, that we want to better ourselves. Not only that, but we want to be there for other people when they make that journey. Because, like you said, not everybody's going to want to listen. And I've learned that actually, because you talk to a person and they swim away quite quickly a lot of times. It's like,
very
wait,
quickly.
wait, what? I need support. Where'd you go?
Well, and again, it's hard. And Gil Skill said the same thing. He loves the discussion. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it. And it's a matter of if you and I'm not shamelessly plugging my channel, but I've been unwrapping a lot of the toxicity on social media. And it's hard to navigate that and find people who are like-minded, who just want to work on themselves and have a good support system while
Yes.
you unwrap your stuff, and have a safe space to do that without judgment, without trolling, without all of the garbage that goes along with social media. And I'm excited when I meet somebody like Fishy and we can talk about all of these things and there is no judgment, and we can go, oh, well, this worked for me. What works for you? And be able to bounce those ideas. And at the end of the conversation, you feel good. You feel empowered. You feel like you're not alone. You know, there's that connection there, and you can find that with a lot of people. It's just finding and navigating the social aspect of that on in the world right now is really tough.
Yeah, you basically got to find those safe people and safe places to do it. Because, yeah, you can't just do it anywhere. Yeah, it could backfire on you with the
Right.
wrong people.
Right. Well, and I mean, like I said, I'm not shamelessly plugging my channel, but I've been observing this kind of behavior on the social media platforms for a long time now. And
Yes.
it's really hard to sit back and witness it and stay silent, you know,
Yeah.
and be like, wait a minute, how come you people are acting like fools? You know, I came to social media for the same reasons a lot of people did, and that was because I needed a positive, happy escape, whether it's playing a game or, you know, watching videos of things that I like, animals or dogs or kittens or, you know, variety shows, whatever. And then you automatically are thrown into this big, huge ocean of people. And you have to navigate which ones are there for the same reasons you are and which ones are there for reasons that are a little more malicious. That's hard.
Yeah, because when there's drama and all that, it's like that's the last thing I'm looking for. I have drama and toxicity and hurts in my first world. I'm not
Yep.
coming to the virtual land and wasting my time on virtual land to get more.
Thank you, Steve.
No,
Well,
you
and
know?
that's just it. Why would I come here just to add more drama to the fact that I came here to kind of find a release from that or an escape from that? Um, I'm not signing up for that. I have enough problems.
Exactly. So yeah, I love it when I find channels, be it videos or live streams, where they're positive, fun, because that makes my day, and that's what I'm looking for. It helps outbalance maybe a bad day going on in my first world, if that makes sense, or just me myself having a bad day, you know, just
Well, and I
because.
always I always try to tell people too, it's like, don't give up. I mean, if you have a negative experience in one community or in one group of people, you're allowed to change your mind and say, this isn't working for me. These people don't respect my boundaries and they're garbage humans. I'm ready to move on and find more positive things. And you can connect with anybody and you can find, I mean, the internet is huge and there's all sorts of manner of good people out there who have great ideas and who are there for love and laughter and fun and games and whatever you can possibly imagine. And you don't have to just sit and stagnate in one little toxic pond, as I call it.
Yep, exactly.
You do not have to settle for that though.
Nope.
And so I swam over to Fishy's and said, hey, you know, I like what you do. You're positive. You've got a great attitude. Let's talk. Let's be friends. You know, this is what I'm doing. How can we do this together? And you start gathering the good people around you who want to do that very same thing, is be positive. Like, you know, Gil said, I'm looking for that. I need that because it empowers me to make better changes in my first world.
Exactly. That helps us. And something that Losfer and I are trying to do is not only provide positivity, encouragement for anybody that needs it, but we're hoping to establish basically safe places for people on that journey to have people to go to that where they are safe, where we're not going to take that info and use it against you in the future. It'll be a very safe place to be. So that's what we're working on, aren't we?
We are actually, you know, because that was kind of the idea of the platform of what I'm trying to do with my channel as it sits is, you know, is I have a goal and it's to create that safe space where people are allowed to talk about some really hard feelings. And
yes,
that's intimidating because you know that it's social, it's public, and everybody can see it. And so any information you put out there becomes public knowledge, and there are people who will turn and use that against you. So we're hoping to create spaces where those things don't happen. And
that's right. That's right.
You have to establish a lot of trust, and that's hard when people have agendas and motives. And so it's difficult. But again, if you do it in a manner like we're trying to do, by being authentic and real and getting people to understand that we're not invested in whether you win or lose, right? We hope you win, but this is a learning experience for us too. But we all kind of have the same mission, and that's just to be better people, be our better version of ourselves in our first world, second world, and on social media.
That's right. So yeah, because I can relate to that. I mean, there's certain things that I would definitely not feel comfortable talking in a public forum, even if it's on Losfer Words, even if it was on your channel, it's still public. Right. So it's kind of cool that like you and I connected and we've talked about many things behind the scenes, and then it just stays there. You know, for both of us.
There's a space for that, right? I mean, it's not like I'm going to record. I have a therapist, right? So it's not like I'm going to record my therapy sessions and then just push play so everybody can hear my innermost feelings and go,
no.
I mean, you know, but at a certain level, there's things that I'm learning in therapy about my grief journey that I want to share with other people because I go, oh, you know, I know somebody else who struggles with that, and I really think that they might gather some really good insight from that, and that makes it valuable. It makes it valuable to you as a listener who might have experienced it too and doesn't want to share, but it also makes it valuable to the person who needs it, and it makes it valuable to me because I learned something really good. So, you know, that's yeah,
because thus far, like our thing together, I guess, is, you've had things that you share with me, and then I've had things, kind of, I think that's how it should be in a good friendship. Mm-hmm. Is you can, each of us are going to have things maybe to vent or talk about, and then be there for the other person too. It's that communication and safe place for that. And just in general, actually, in my YouTube adventures, and even outside YouTube, even my first world here, is it seems that people know that they can trust me and they'll come to me with things, right? And they know that I'm not going to spread it. I'm here to listen. Sometimes people just need an ear to listen, a shoulder to cry on kind of thing. So
yeah, welcome to my world, right? I mean,
yes.
I get that a lot, but I mean, and again, everybody's journey is different. I'm very empathic. I have a lot of life experience, and I'm willing to be transparent with people because I don't I don't fear judgment, and I don't really care what anybody knows about me. Not everybody's in that same space. Not everybody's in that same realm of their life journey, and that's okay. I don't judge anybody based on that. I don't think I'm better than anybody because of that. I'm just in a different place. But it's really disarming, and it's also a little intimidating when you want to talk to people about your stuff, but you can't trust them because you don't know who's real. You don't know who's gonna hear you out and you're gonna cry to, and then they're gonna turn around and blab it to somebody else. And that, so it's a really fine line to walk, and you have to learn those. Again, we go right back to boundaries. You have to learn those boundaries with people and express them as you get to know them. And when red flags are flown, you watch them, you pay attention to them, and you go, maybe I shouldn't be sharing this information. Fishy's gonna run and tell somebody. You know what I mean? But again, it's really about your boundaries. If I tell her, you know what,
Yeah.
anything I tell you is free and clear, and you can tell anybody, and I don't care. But if there's something I really want to keep between us, I can say, you know what, let's just keep this between us. This is something I'm not comfortable with other people knowing, and that's a
Exactly.
boundary. And it's
Yeah.
being transparent enough to communicate with her and say no or yes. You're
Exactly.
the one calling the shots.
And that's something that I've noticed in regards to red flags, be it a relationship or a friendship or anything, is once you've seen them and you have your boundaries, the next time they arise, you will see them sooner, I believe, and like, oh, yep, that's definitely a red flag. And then you deal with the situation.
I
Be
like
it,
to
you know,
I like to think that red flags really are just a signpost for people who need to be communicated with, that these are things that you do or do not tolerate. And the red flag is them pushing back or disagreeing or disrespecting your boundary. I mean, everybody goes, oh, red flag, it's a buzzword, right? And they go, oh, here
hmm
we go again. But I just think of it as more of it's just a really good way for you to recognize your boundaries need to be there in the first place. And if you communicate them transparently, people will respect them. And if they don't, then you get to establish that they need to make choices, and the choice is theirs, and they have to own it.
Yep, and that's a great word. I love the word choice because a lot of my life I didn't feel like I had choice. So choice is not a negative word, but I have noticed with certain people with their certain agendas or whatever it is, they don't like that word choice. It's like, how can you not like that? Choice is a good thing. It's like it can be freedom. Now maybe it'll hurt sometimes if you can't have your choice with my boundaries, but you could if you want to swim away, I suppose. But yeah, choice is a huge thing.
Well, yes, I agree, Captain Jerk. Captain Jerk says not everybody's boundaries can be respected, but if people are to get along, it's called tolerance. We do have a certain amount of tolerance for people based on the fact that we understand the journey that they're on. However, you can only tolerate so much. And if you have established those boundaries and they're clear and transparent, you can only be so tolerant. And that goes with
Yeah.
patience and everything else.
And
But
everybody's different. Like Captain Jerk, if you have a high thing of tolerance, then go ahead. But me, I might not have a high, space for tolerance. So I might be like, nope, sorry. So it kind of depends on the person and probably the topic.
Well, and the situation too, because everybody's life is different. I might tolerate more disrespect from my child. Obviously, she's my child, but I might tolerate more disrespect from her than I would somebody on a social media platform because she's my child. And her
That
and I
makes
need to
sense.
communicate and sit down and have a good discussion about it. But with social media, if I've already told people don't call me, Fred, my name's Lori, and they keep calling me Fred because they think it's funny, I have the right to tell them, you know what, you're disrespecting my boundaries, and I just really think you're a jerk, and I don't want to hang out with you no more. And that's okay. But if you have a tolerance for that kind of ribbing or joking and it doesn't bother you, then cool, right? You're no fool. I agree with that, Captain Jerk.
Yeah.
But
No,
again,
very
it's
smart.
situational, and it's
Yeah.
subjective to where you are in your place in life. Some people are very sensitive and they take things more personal, and they snap and they react differently. Does it mean they're a bad person? No, but we don't know what triggers everybody.
No, but you know what? We've now reached past the top of the hour, so we're going to play our intro and then we'll be back to seeing what's going on in chat, okay?
Awesome.
First, I got to switch rooms, though. There we go. Go to the room where it is. All right. I hope you enjoy it. It's about 2 minutes long and it should be inspiring. And the music is by A Year Ago. Well, it's by Nefex. It's called A Year Ago, I should say. So here you go.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I'm not falling. I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and we're all going live. Still nobody knows, but I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it's such a good song. I just came across that song today when I was trying to figure out a song to go with my visuals that I found. The visuals are copyright-free things I found on Canva, a great platform to use for thumbnails and for just visuals like that. And yeah, then the song I came up with after listening to a few songs on YouTube, because YouTube provides music, copyright-free music that you can use. And one of my most favorite bands that are there is Netflix. They have great music that's fun to jam to, but also great messages. So A Year Ago by Netflix is really cool. That fit just perfect for what we're doing today.
I absolutely love it. You know what? Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us today. We didn't know what was going to happen. We were just kind of like, let's do it and let's fly by the seat of our pants and have some real
That's
talk.
kind of what happened for today. I mean, we went over a couple things. I made the little intro. I showed you the intro, but I mean, we're being real here. We're new at this, of doing this together, but we want this to be inspiring to you all. You know, we want to make
That's
a difference.
Good word. I like that. Inspiring. I like that word.
We want to be inspiring, don't we? I do. You do.
Well, and we hope that, we hope that a lot of this resonates. It sounds like, and it looks like people are enjoying the chat. We're hoping that everybody's gaining some kind of wisdom and knowledge out of that, and also finding that there are other people out there who think similarly, and that you do have allies. You do have people who can help. Yes, Laura, the bird is here, and he's being kind of a jerk.
It's all right. He just adds to the whole experience. It's all good. Yep.
Well, you go do that, Captain Jerk. We will be here. Just make sure you wash your hands. That's all. Wash your hands.
That's right. Maybe drink the soap, according to Nora.
Nora says drink the soap. I say wash your hands and be a better human.
Yes, that too. Geez, Captain Jerk, why did you have to say that? Now I gotta go.
Yeah, she's gotta go too. I'm gonna be the only one. I'm over here double fisting with coffee and soda and water.
Yeah. Oh, you can have your turn in a moment. How's that? I'll be back.
Take your time. But I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for inviting me and welcoming me so much to Fishy's platform, because I'm not new to that. I've gone to other people's platforms and we've had discussions about lots of things under the sun. But it's part of my journey. I want to share what I know. I want to share my wisdom with people and my experience. And I also want to learn from other people, because on my journey, it's about, grief and loss. And there's people who've been through that too, and they've been at it a lot longer than I have. So being able to understand where they're coming from and learn from their experience helps me put into perspective the struggle that I have. And so it's wonderful to be able to do that with people, and find that safe space. And you guys are all making that really easy by inviting me in and not judging, right? Because we just talked about judgment. So, but I appreciate it. I really do. And you guys are all connecting with each other, and getting to know each other, because we're all very different. And I love coffee, Wicked. It is my true passion in life. Without coffee, I call coffee the magical elixir of life, because it is. And my bird agrees with you. So, but yeah, definitely connect with each other. What Fishy and I are hoping is that if you guys really enjoyed this conversation and you liked what we had to talk about, is to give us feedback, and you can give us constructive criticism, and we're not going to go, oh, we're not going to get butthurt about it. But it would be really nice if you guys think this is a really cool thing to do, that we could do it again, and let us know, what you guys would like to talk about, or, what kind of inspiring messages or things that you guys would like to bring to the table and have discussion about that would help better your stuff, because we would learn.
Yeah, and we just want to help people anyways, so either way it's beneficial.
Right, Wicked? I get that. I mean, and your struggle is different than mine, but there's probably people within that same group who might be able to offer some advice on how you're handling that.
Yeah.
Because, Fishy has already touched on the fact that she's got a health issue that she struggles with from time to time. I actually have one as well. You've got one. There's lots of people that, even if our ailment or whatever our struggle is different, the solutions or the results or what we can do to better ourselves are the same.
Yeah, I think we can all relate, even.
That's the word, relate. See? She helps me.
Yeah, see, like myself, I deal with POT syndrome, yes. I know that, with Insanity, yeah, he had cancer, and he's having the aftermath of the remedies to getting rid of that cancer that he has to deal with now. So, autism or different things. People deal with different things, ADD or ADHD or whatever. All those things, they're chronic things that we deal with. And even if the label is different, even if the symptoms are slightly different, I believe we all can relate in getting through and just being a better us. Yeah, it might look slightly different. Only we will know in our mind, I guess, in our physical and our mind, what we need to do. But with so much freeing, though. Think about it. If we can better ourselves in whatever manner that is, we're so much more happy in life and enjoy life as best as we're able to.
Well, and I also think it's liberating, like you said, and it's kind of a relief, I think, for me, to see that there are other people who struggle with similar things, whether it is a health issue or whether it's a mental, issue or whatever. It's refreshing to know that I'm not alone. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of people come to social media for validation, and support, and they don't get it. But it's refreshing when you do find that, and you find a safe space and people who you can learn from. It relieves a lot of that stress and burden of feeling like you're struggling by yourself.
Exactly. And hello, Johnny Jim. Good to see
I
you
was just
here.
going to say hi, Johnny.
Yep. So it doesn't have to be identical. And think about it this way. Even people I know that deal with POT syndrome like I do, guess what? Their symptoms are still different. How they cope with it is still different. So even if you have the exact same syndrome or chronic whatevers in your life, even if you have the exact same terminology, it's still going to be different, just like anything. Like when it comes to politics or religion or beliefs and all the things, you could be identical from the outside looking at it on paper, like, okay, I don't know, let's say a person's Catholic and they believe this, but they're still going to be slightly different in thinking than the person across the room. We're all individual, we're unique, and yeah, it's just how life is. We're all built different. We all have our own, how I have heard it, and I think it's a great way to look at it. We all have our own manual for life, and how we decipher things and how we deal with things are slightly different than another one. I mean, you can't, a vacuum cleaner and a blender are totally different. I don't know, just they're different manuals. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just a different way that we digest things, different way how we see things. So if somebody were to say one thing, I might take it as, oh, they're trying to hurt me, and then maybe Losfer Words or hear that same thing, be like, no, they're not. They're just saying this. So we can perceive things different because of our experience and because of what our manual says in our head or in our body or whatever.
Well, and you bring up an interesting point. Your perspective is that everybody has a different manual. My perspective, the way I think about it is there is no manual, and you get to write it.
I like that
So,
too.
you know, and that's pretty much. I mean, they're together, but they're different. Your
Yes.
viewpoint is as solid and positive and correct and right as mine is. Nobody,
Exactly.
and I think that's the point that I try to get to everybody when they have conflict with anybody in their first world, second world social media, is that we are all right. Nobody's wrong. It's just how you communicate your perspective. That's part of the story. It's like
Mhm.
you're right. If you feel a certain way, nobody's telling you you're wrong. Everybody's right. It's just that the disconnect or the wrong part is how we communicate and how it enriches us in our way. So Fishy's got a manual written and it's on this thing. I don't have a manual on that, so I can have her read from hers and teach me how to rewrite my own. And I think
Right.
that's really important.
Yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, they're both great ways to look at it. It's just different viewpoints and whatever's going to work, for each and every one of the people here. If the person's trying to figure out things like that, right?
Well, I think Cheesecake touched on that a lot earlier in the chat too, where she said, tolerance and all of those things are perspective, and
Yes.
everybody sits up in their own perspective. We all view everything different in life based on our own life experience. And I might have 20 years more life experience than Fishy because I'm 20 years older. But it doesn't make her wrong, and it doesn't make her experience wrong, her feelings wrong. It just means that it's different. And different isn't always bad.
Right. Yeah, because like I learned things from Losfer here, and I believe that she's learned some things from me.
Oh,
Just because I'm
tons.
earlier on in my journey doesn't mean that that maybe I don't have something that I can't share. And I know for sure that Losfer has things to share with her experience, and that's great. I love it.
But I get to learn also from your experience because part of my journey is unlearning bad coping mechanisms. And as you're learning yours, I can go,
Yes.
oh, I never thought of that. That might be something that I can integrate into my learning to unlearn bad stuff or things that I shouldn't say bad, but things that no longer serve me. And so
Right.
as you're navigating a path that I may have already been through in my past experience, you can offer me a perspective on how I can change a coping mechanism because it serves me now and I never thought of it before. So it doesn't matter that your manual's different. It just matters that the information's there and I can use whatever I want from it as it serves me.
Exactly, and that's awesome. And the other thought I had, remember we were talking about, like I was trying to talk about Legoland, like there's people out there that get upset if the people in their story,
Hmm.
it's like Legoland, and if you don't move exactly like their story of that Lego movie or whatever, they get
Hmm.
upset. And then I think you were talking about what about like a movie itself, right? That you get
Hmm.
to pick if you're the was it the
I'm the
director?
director. I can be the director. I can be the writer. I can be the actor or the actress. I can be the prop guy, you know?
Right. But the interesting, I thought the what I was learned about, or what I learned about, I mean, is about the Lego thoughts too, and it's just interesting because that's how it is for people that basically people in our life that want things to go a certain way, basically control, be it a
Hmm.
friend or more. And when I, the Lego character, don't do exactly what they were hoping, they get all out of joint,
And they
and I
they
have to
flip
remember
the
that.
table and
Yeah.
they become Godzilla and smash the virtual Lego city. Oh no, Tokyo, I mean,
And then I have to remember that, we need to remember that for ourselves too, that if somebody in our story doesn't do quite what we thought they should in our Lego story or from our manual or the manual we're writing, however we want to look at it, that we have to remember, wait, that they're in charge of their choices, that's it. We can only choose what we're going to do or not going to do in our story.
and all of you in chat have some really great fact points. I love it. I love that you guys are talking about it, and that you guys agree that we all do have to be cognizant of the fact that personal interactions are personal, and they really are. And they're
Personally, yep.
hard to navigate because we are all unique. And somebody else had made the comment earlier too that if the world wasn't unique, that it would be a really boring place if all of us were the same and we all sat in the same echo chamber and believed the same thing and all had the same yes people pleasing thing that Fishy was talking about earlier. Life would be
Yeah.
really freaking boring.
That's so
And
shallow and then hard on the person that's trying to be a people pleaser. I can say that because I, for the longest time in my life, if I can speak English, in my life, have been a people pleaser, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want to
oh
be me,
goodness,
you know?
give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. So yeah, so I mean, we all have that choice. If you want to be a people pleaser, you have that choice. But then you're living through other people, and I think a lot of us would like the freedom to be our own person and choose what we do and don't want to do in life. But yeah, let us know, how are you enjoying this. This is our very first podcast, well, live stream. We plan to maybe do podcast type of thing. Losfer and I are on our own journeys, and we're hoping we can welcome back. We're hoping that, this is entertaining at the very least, and maybe even helpful in your own lives, depending on what you're going through. Because we don't know. We don't know all the things that you're going through. And, we were just talking before the stream. It's kind of like, well, if we can help like one person in this whole entire world, if one person can be changed by what we're saying and doing, that's totally worth it. And it's amazing.
I agree.
And that
I
one person
agree.
could just be us too. Like I was telling her behind the scenes, like, that one person could be you, Lori, or it could be me, and that's still one person.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did talk about that prior to getting on live too. And I mean, that's my mission in life, is to be a better person, be the best version of me that I can. But I'm putting out all this stuff on a social media platform. But I told her, I said, I'm not interested in keeping score with numbers and subs and likes. And I have no expectations about me being monetized or any of those things. Some people have those goals, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, it's if I can just change one person and make them feel like they're not alone, or that they have, give them a perspective that helps them on their way, I feel like I've won. And that's all I've ever asked for, was to just, it makes me feel good, to be able to help anybody in any capacity. And there's a lot of people who don't like me, and that's okay. And they can think what they want. And they don't have to hang out. They don't have to hear my message. They don't have to do that. But
No, they can like or not like. It's free choice, right?
But there's always somebody out there who I can hope that they will hear the message, understand it, and feel better, or take that information and use it to become that best person that they can be. And that's what I hope. But if they don't, so be it, right? It's like going to the library, Fishy. We talked about that before. Go to the library, you've got a whole library of books to choose from. And
that's right.
You're going to pick out this book, and I might just want to go look at the atlas.
Yeah, we can pick and choose, and we're still going to do what we're going to do. And if you enjoy it, great. If it helps you out, great. If it doesn't, or you don't like it, well, that's on you. I mean, we're still going to do what we're going to do. And it looks like it's still inspiring people, though. Don't worry there, Lori. Look at here. I love the discussions here tonight. Good chat, good panel. See, it's going good. It's all good.
I'm just pleased. I'm pleased that it resonates and that people are enjoying it. And hopefully, again, I said before, making those connections with more positive people, because people come to Fishy's and Toy Man's Bar and Grill for their, whatever it is that they're looking for. People come to watch a video of people magnet fishing, or, metal detecting, or whatever, for whatever it is that they're looking for. People come and listen to a podcast about being a better human for whatever they're looking for.
Exactly.
But I get to connect and find other people who might have not known what I had to offer. And they're going, oh, well, I think I might want to get to know her better. Cool. I get to make another connection. So to me, it's exciting. I get to meet lots of really interesting people and hopefully learn something from them.
And yeah, I don't know if it's this comment or another one, but I know Toy Man, he's looking forward to it too, because I did make a comment earlier that, him and I are planning to do some streams too. We're just going to kind of rotate it to get more variety for a while, and it's going to be all good. It's great stuff, and I'm looking forward to doing streams with him too, because we had a lot of fun.
Well, it's an evolving journey, right? I mean,
yeah,
My fiance and I did a radio show on the internet for 4 years. And it was when we first started, it was this way, and we grew and evolved. And when we recognized that something maybe wasn't working for us, we changed it. It didn't mean that, we couldn't do that anymore. It just meant that it was, time to move on and try something different to make it more interesting or make it more effective, or, it didn't serve its purpose anymore. And so when you have that and you're able to use that perspective as far as life, or whether you're, a relationship, um, you know, things, people grow, evolve, and change. And sometimes it's not necessarily in the direction that we expected, but you have to be open-minded that life changes and your perspective changes. And it's not necessarily always bad. It's uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
we have to learn and roll with that, because sometimes what's comfortable for me isn't going to be comfortable for, say, Fishy. But that's okay, as long as we're talking about it.
Yes.
As long as I'm not just going, "Mm, mm," you know, and not expressing and compromising and being able to communicate.
Exactly. Yep. We're all,
It's
yeah, we all
Thursday,
can
Wicked.
tolerate other
It's
things.
Thursday.
It's Thursday.
I wish it was Friday.
Yes, it's not Friday. Not yet.
Man, 90 minutes go fast. I can't believe the time has flown this quickly.
Yeah, isn't that incredible? When you have good company in chat and a wonderful co-host and great topics, it goes really fast. Truly, it does.
Well, again, and if I haven't said it enough, I really appreciate you inviting me to come do this today, because it feels good. It's, not necessarily that when we talk about things that are maybe not like happy-go-lucky butterflies and unicorns, but we can still see the positive impact that it has on us and on other people. And that makes me feel good. It's inspiring, like we said before.
Well, I'm really honored that this worked out, that you were for this, and I do hope that, like we're planning, that we can do this, continually. You just have to figure out that balance to how often, right? So
Well, and that's going to depend a lot too on the people who are watching and the people in chat and the kind of
that's very
feedback.
true.
Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See, I gotta do that for you, for Fishy.
Yes,
But
yes, please do this.
please comment, please give the feedback, because that's going to have a really big bearing on whether or not we do this again. Because
Exactly.
if nobody cares, we're just not gonna waste our time. We'll just talk behind scenes like we always do.
Right. Yeah, 'cause we're gonna continue, building each other up and being there for each other. We have a great friendship, and looking forward to as we keep going on that journey. And if this is something that you all enjoy, we will continue this on the public side too. Plus, like I say, maybe we'll end up with a nice, like, behind the scenes room for people to feel safe to express some of their things or something. But it is all
Hmm.
about what you guys are hoping for, what you're looking for, because I think that'd be pretty cool, provide a
Well, and
room.
it's funny you mentioned that, the whole, we could have a safe behind the scenes room, like a support group, basically. It's
Yes,
just a
it would be.
virtual support group. And it's funny because somebody who's in chat, Laura Lee, who's a very, very personal, close friend of mine, her and I
Mhm.
talk all the time about just life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. She's my friend. But I have
Yeah.
to hang out with her virtually because she's in another part of the continent. She's in a different country. But one day we were actually having a really deep conversation, and we looked at each other, and I never go live on my channel. And I said, do you know what? This would make a really good live topic. So we did. I said, do you want to go live? She said, sure, let's go live. And it turned out that our little private support group that we were having, just the two of us, turned into a live stream where everybody came and enjoyed that conversation too. So you never know what could happen when you connect with people and you learn and you have that kind of support.
Exactly. Yep, you gotta just keep it open, I guess, protect yourself, have your boundaries, but always have that openness to learn new things and try new things maybe.
My bird's misbehaving. It's past his bedtime.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll put him to bed when we're done. But he's being a little,
Being a goofy. Is he being a goofy?
he's just being a little aggressive. He wants his head scratched too.
Oh, okay. Oh, and another thought is too, because there's people that Well, think about this. We all have a past, right? We all have past things. Some of us more severe, some maybe not as severe, but sometimes we have things in our past that will be like, well, I'm a bad person or all this hurt happened to me. And then you want to look back and dwell on that negativity. But you know what? You can't go back unless there's something you can remedy, I don't know, with a person now, like money wise, or let's say you stole something, maybe you can make it better. But other than that, you really, or apologies, of course, but you really can't go back and undo whatever's done in the past. And I bring that up because all you really can do overall is this very moment on. You go forward and you can make your life better from this point forward. And you got to look forward to do that. I mean, if you keep dwelling on the past, if it's negative and hurtful and all, then you can't move forward, right? You can't grow. Now you can use some of those past experiences maybe to be ideas not to go back to. Yes, of course, you want to learn from your experiences. But some people dwell so much on their past that they can't move forward. They're stuck.
Well, and I think the key of that too is that some people, it might appear that they're dwelling or stagnating in their past, failures from our perspective, but they might not know how. They might not have the tools or the resources to move beyond that, and then they get stuck in their cycle, like you said, and that
Yes.
that can be very scary and frustrating for people who don't have an outlet or don't know a different way or don't even have access to it. Um, and that
And
can be
sometimes you can get stuck basically, well, some of my experience, without going into much detail, I can say that I've felt stuck in some regards within belief or in religion, where just in your head, really, you feel stuck. You're not actually stuck. You're not actually literally stuck, but mental stuff is huge, and you might feel very stuck, be it a belief, a religion, or something otherwise. And it's when you find the right tools to show you that no, you're not stuck. It can be so freeing. So freeing. And
absolutely.
then you gotta like make those steps, which is really hard. I can tell you that from my own point of view. Making those first changes, those first steps can be very scary. And the reason is I don't know, think about people that are being physically abused, let's say. And that's not me. I'm just going to clarify that. But as somebody in physical abuse, you wonder why do they go back to that person or why do they stay? It's because it's what their mind is used to. Our mind hates change, even if the circumstance you look from the outside, be like, hey, why don't you leave that person? They're hurting you, they're punching you, they're slapping you. But we hate change. We don't like to do that first step to get out, even if it's physically hurting us or more.
Right. Well, and you make a really good point is that a lot of times people are in situations where they don't have an out or they don't have any options or they may feel like they don't have options. And that can be really scary. And you don't know any way out. And then you do feel like you're kind of trapped. And so it's difficult to navigate that as well. But it's again life's tough, you have to learn to pick up the pen sometimes and write your own manual, you know and babes, I get that. I absolutely get it. You and I could have a really long conversation about that. And she says, I'm in a deep groove that I can't move out of my past because I grew up with both my parents, and now 9 years after my father passed away, I'm still living in the past. Grief is a hard thing because unwrapping that and having regrets and not being able to resolve past trauma or issue because the person is no longer there creates a whole nother situation or a whole nother series of things that you have to learn to operate in. And a lot of times it's about forgiving yourself. And that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah,
So,
that's really hard. There's some hard things that we have to process, and everybody's process is different. For one person, it could be, I don't know, months, it could be years, for them to get through each of those stages of grief. It's just if you can, he's so cute.
I'm so sorry. He's
No, I think it's funny. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Anyways, I was just gonna say, everybody's length of time of getting over things or getting through things, or however you want to look at it, it's gonna be different, and nobody can put you on a like a timeline, like, hey, it's been 2 years, you should be over it by now. No, you don't know. Everybody has to process it in a healthy way, like their own timeline, I should say. And if you need to go and get help through, like, let's say a therapist or something, there is nothing wrong with that. I do believe that for some reason people frown upon that. Like if somebody's going to a therapist, well, there must be something wrong with them. But you know what? That's a tool. It's a wonderful tool. And I know for a fact that some people wouldn't be where they're at if they didn't have that. And I think that's beautiful if you can find the right therapist for your fit. Because that's another thing. You can, I think, in a sense, I'm assuming this, I guess I haven't really done a therapist myself thus far. But I would think that you can try a therapist out, and if they're not quite clicking with you, you can try other ones out because you want to find the right one that's going to fully benefit you. And apparently Lori's bird is talking to her.
I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm trying to listen, and at the same time, he's over here just singing his little heart out. And
But
I
maybe
moved
you
my
have, yeah, maybe you'd have more feedback in regards to the therapist. But you know what, I think that's a great tool if you can find the right person. If you don't find the right one the first time, I would think you can almost shop around, if you want to call it that way, because you need to find one that is going to benefit you, right?
Well, and I think finding outside third-party intervention like therapy, or even Babe says, I'm against psychiatrists, and finding the right tool that works for you is, again, it's all about your journey and what works. I was grateful to have therapy in place prior to my tragedy, so therefore it was just the next progression. I was already working with somebody that I trusted, and so it made the process a lot easier. But like you said, I've never done that route. Well, I've told people who are interested in that route that a lot of times when you're looking for that kind of intervention, you have to interview them much like you would a job, and make sure that they're going to understand what your goals are and what you hope to accomplish. And if they don't work out, then you find somebody who does. I think it discourages people because they'll have a bad experience, and then they don't want to reach back out and try again. It's a lot of work. It's hard work to find that trust with a professional that is going to do good for you. And and also the stigma that goes behind that. Like you said, it's not a bad thing, but some people have a negative experience with anything, whether it's going to a doctor or a chiropractor, or if it's the dentist, right? That negative experience carries with you for a long time. And it's hard to get out of that mindset and go, I'm just going to try again. I'm going to try again, if that's your thing. But for some people, they don't. I know lots of people who had substance abuse problems, and they went through, their initial thing to get off of their substance, and then they never went to a meeting a day in their life. They navigated it with the support system they already had in place. Good for them. That works for some people. For some people, they need a meeting once a week. Some people need to have somebody on standby. Whatever your issue is, what works for one person isn't always going to work for the other.
Yeah, whatever that is, go on your own path. Like, I know this will be a funny topic for me to talk about because I'm not one that smokes, but with people that smoke, let's say you want to quit smoking. Well, some people might go to like a vape, and then they decrease the nicotine or something, and then they quit, right? Other people might do patches, and I think there's, I don't know, maybe medications or whatever, or maybe they go to therapy for it. I don't know. But then some people, they can just quit cold turkey in their mind. They're like, okay, I'm done. And then they walk away from it. And I think that's kind of like if you need therapy from a psychologist or whatever, or not. I mean, yeah, if you can do it without one, that's fine. Or if you need one, that's fine. Don't feel lesser if you need one or don't need one, It's all good.
Well, and like you said, I mean, it's different for everybody. Some people can handle a change in life path or change in whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish without support, without intervention, and that's good on them. And there are other people who require it to varying degrees of support, whether it's intensive or not. And what works for one doesn't always work for the other. My only thing that I try to remind people is that if one thing doesn't work, you don't give up, and not either look for something else or a better solution. You don't give up. And that's difficult when you're dealing with people who have anxiety and depression, or hit a rock bottom, and they don't see that there are options, because that's a struggle for them. And important that even if you have a negative experience, you don't stop living. You don't stop trying to find a better solution, no matter what that looks like. And that's hard. It's hard for a lot of people who struggle. But all we can do is offer that space and just say, you know what, here's what we have to offer, or here are your options, or here's what worked for me. And
Exactly.
it could work
Exactly.
for you and it might not. But if somebody's had a bad experience with a psychiatrist because the solution that's been given to them is take pills, I can see why that would be scare you to want to even think about doing it again. For me, it's the same thing. I don't medicate with any of my issues, but if I needed to, or if I needed to find another place to get help, I could establish that boundary with whoever it is and say, I refuse to take medication. So my goal is to fix this without it. And if you can't do that, then I'm going to go find somebody who will.
Exactly. But no, that makes sense because, yeah, I know this. When you said dentist, it made me almost want to jump out of my seat because, yeah, me and dentists, oh my goodness, talk about
Me either.
when I hear a dentist or have to go to the dentist, I literally shake because I've had really bad experience at dentists. It doesn't mean that that dentist that day will be bad, but I just had lots of hurt.
Right.
And yeah, and kind of like what you're talking about, like doctors and stuff, makes me think of therapists too. That there's good, well, for us, anyways, good and bad doctors for us, and you can shop around a little bit in regards to doctors that are going to benefit us, and that'd be kind of like a therapist if that's something you're looking for. Or, like well, like Lori and I, we talk. We're not therapists technically or anything for each other, but we're very
I'm,
much great
and
for
I'm
each
not a
other.
professional in any way, shape, or form.
Me either.
I don't have a degree in psychology. My life experience was my teacher, and it might not work for everybody, but for a lot of people, it does resonate, and I can give, good suggestions. And give logical reasons to back it up. And if people think I'm blowing smoke or I'm full of S, that's okay. Then don't listen. I don't care. I'm not invested in whether or not you get better. And I'm not saying that to be rude, but that's the facts. I'm not invested in whether anybody listens to my experience or not. Just like if you go to a therapist and they tell you something, you can be like, well, that's stupid. You don't have to do what people tell you.
No, these are only what we talk here, obviously, are just suggestions. These are just ideas, our own life experiences of things that have helped us, but in no way, shape, or form are we, we're not licensed anything, we're just
That's right.
saying what we know and hopefully it helps. And if you need to go get professional help, go get professional help. And if just being at these positive streams is good, that's great too.
I
And like I
understand that,
say,
babe.
we might have more to offer in the future, and I don't know. Oh, health issues. Yeah, I know that can be. She's been through lots. Yes, I know that.
And like I said, there's people that you can find and connect with on all different levels who have experience in lots of different ways, in different things. And like I said, Fishy's got health issues that don't emulate mine. Mine are totally different. However, she might have some coping mechanisms that might work really well for me. But the point being is that her experience, her emotional feelings about her disability or her medical issue might be very similar or mirror mine, because I have chronic health issues as well. So I'm going to have feelings and emotions that are very similar to hers, even though we have a very different medical condition. And being able to navigate that sometimes is really cool. Me too, Toy Man. We could be quitting smoking buddies, because I'm working on that as a New Year's resolution myself, is to get down to a point where I'm not doing that thing. It's hard.
Yeah, and it's hard when you're around. Well, for him, I know it's hard when he's around people that smoke. But really, it comes down to because it might not be around people that smoke where you're at their loss for
I'm not around anybody. I'm by myself.
unless your bird smokes. But anyways, but it really does come down to our mental. Like, okay, we're ready and we want to, and then we do it. And however route makes sense for us. And how I can relate to that is sugar addiction. I love sugar, and I have had times in my life where I decided to put sugar to the side. And to tell you the truth, if somebody was in the house, baking up sugary goodness in front of me, it would be a lot harder to stay away from that than it would be that in my house there would be no sugar. So that kind of makes sense to some degree, but the big thing is we have to want to. No patch, no whatever is going to make us stop unless we really want to stop.
Right. And well, and that goes with anything in life. I mean, if you want to
Yeah,
accomplish something, at some point you have to believe that you are the instigator of your own change. And if you want something bad enough, you will make that happen. And if you make excuses like I do with tobacco, I mean, I've been a 34-year smoker. Um, that's my crutch. And I'm accountable for that. And if I want it bad enough, then I will figure out and institute that change. But I'm going to continue to use excuses until I've made up my mind that that's something that I'm ready to get rid of. But I'm the institutor of my own change, and
that's
anything that
right.
anybody else says isn't going to change the fact that I like to smoke.
Yeah, because I could say all day long till I'm blue in the face. Wait, I am blue in the face. But anyways.
Just because you're a blue fish.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I could say it all day long to you and be like, I could have all kinds of reasons, like, hey, that's bad for you. You're going to get lung cancer, blah, 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 whatever I would like to say. I mean, I'm not that kind of person, but if I were to do that, you're still not going to quit smoking over that because it's your choice. And it's not just smoking. I know people like to frame it on smoking, drugs, alcohol. But like I say, a lot of us, anyways, are addicted to things like sugar. Maybe we're addicted to like social media and can't get away from it all day long.
Drama. People are addicted
Drama.
to
Yeah.
drama. People are
Drama.
addicted to the social media
Gossip.
drama. Oh my gosh, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of things people are addicted to, and you don't even think of it as an addiction, but it is. And there are good addictions you could have though too, like taking your vitamins every day, maybe eating your vegetables, exercising. There are good things you could make into a habit or a good addiction too, but a lot of times, they might be lesser, but there are
What do
good
they
and
say?
bad habits
Everything
and addictions.
what do they say? Everything in moderation is key, right? Moderation is key.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah,
anything can be good or bad depending on how much you allow it to consume you positively or negatively, because
exactly.
there's toxic positivity too. I mean, there's people who are just, yeah, big thumb up, everything's great. And that can have negative, consequences as
Yes,
well,
because there
because
are still negatives in the world, and you still have to
yeah,
embrace and cry and all that. It's that balance, like you're saying, because okay, for the most part, I have chosen to try to look at positives because there's usually a glimmer of positive everywhere and in any circumstance. Even when I got trampled by the cow, there was
yeah,
still a positive. I got to take a break from the rat race of the world and I got to learn my piano again. There are still positives, but yet, yes, I cried. And yes, if somebody dies, I'll say you should be able to cry. It's not a positive thing. There's still going to be negatives, but for the majority, I choose to live a more positive life. I'm not going to just think of all the negatives because I was in that boat at one point. It was helped by somebody else in my life, yes, at one point, but I just dwelt on all the negatives, like all the things that was bad with me and all the things that were going wrong. And that's horrible to think everything is negative. I didn't like being on that boat. I would much rather try to be more in a positive boat, but still acknowledge some of the negatives, yes, because they're there too. You know.
right. Well, and something that just reminded me too is that I've just as often as I've been on social media and I've met some really neat people, I've watched people take that same stance that you have. They started out in one spot and recognized that things they were leading kind of had a negative viewpoint on things. And I've watched them change that perspective in their life, and they've done the hard work and they're making some really positive changes. And recognizing that and the light bulb going off and going, you know what, I really need to tell that person I'm really proud of them because I've seen all of this positive growth. And they were kind of negative at first and they were struggling. But
Mhm.
you watched their attitude and their perspective change to, you know what, if I want this bad enough, I can make this happen. And they still struggle. They still have their moments just like everybody else does. But you recognize that there is a certain amount of truth to the power of positive thinking. And again, it goes down to being realistic about the expectation. We know that bad things happen in the world and we can't ignore everything, but
Exactly.
we do have to be very cognizant of what we have control over and how we represent that to the rest of the world, whether it's your first world or in the social media world. And again, it's a lot of small things that make up really big things.
Exactly.
Hi,
And
Mrs. Solo. and hi
Oh,
Crafts with Purple. Some of my friends and people that I know that I find
Solo.
to be amazing support for me in, offline are entering the chat too. So
That
I
is
appreciate you guys
amazing.
coming. Thank you. Thank you for the support.
Yay! Yeah, does that make you smile? It's like, wow, your loyal friends, your loyal peoples. They're like they swim around with you, right? And it's awesome.
Well, they're
Amazing.
good people. Again, you have to believe that everybody has a redeemable quality no matter what they're struggling with in their life. And you give them that opportunity to express themselves in the manner that they find is okay. I've
Exactly.
just been very fortunate to find a group of people who are accepting to that and are non-judgmental in their own journey as well as mine. And we're all broken. We're all, perfectly imperfect, hashtag, right? And
Exactly.
but it gives you a really good starting point to be able to hashtag healthy habits, to establish new ones, to learn, grow, and evolve. And it's exciting when you find that. And I'm
Hi,
super happy
Vanessa.
with it.
Vanessa Kitty is here.
Hi, Vanessa. Thanks for coming.
But yeah, just wow, look at this. We're like we're almost hitting to the end of 2 hours. Can you believe that? They're lost for two
It went
hours.
really fast, but like I said, it's been such a great space, and I appreciate everybody in chat who's talking. I hope we're giving you guys enough attention and addressing and engagement. But I think you guys are all really fantastic, and I'm loving the fact that we're able to have these good discussions. Did you fart? I'm supposed to ask if you farted because Toyman isn't on the panel.
Oh my goodness. No, no, babes. It's just a change up of things is all it is. So today it's Losfer Words and I are having our time here and it's kind of in a rotation. Like
Real
I don't
talk.
know if real talk. Yeah, there you go, real talk. Anyways, I'm not sure if he's still here, but the thought was that next week that Gil Skills might be my co-host next week. And then I
Oh, how
might have
exciting.
yeah, and then I might have some 1 or 2 Thursdays I might take a break, and then in the new year, we might have Ron on, I might have Spike Reviews on, it's gonna rotate. Maybe Northern Ohio Railroad wanna be on. Just give everybody an opportunity and have different topics. And like I say before, Lost for Words and I are hoping to do this maybe around a monthly basis. We'll keep in contact, see what's going on. And if you all enjoy this, we will continue this.
Mhm.
And
As you
after the stream, you can even leave comments below and just let us know.
Please
You
leave
know?
comments below. We need
Yeah,
feedback. We want feedback.
we want feedback. Like, what you enjoyed, what you'd like us to maybe talk more about. I know that Last for Words here, she has a lot of experience and she's more than willing to talk about a lot of that.
I'm
You know,
real I'm more than willing to unwrap the topics and the hard stuff that a lot of people aren't. And again, it's disarming, but it's also and it's intimidating for a lot of people, but there are people who do need a safe space to talk about some of the harder things. And I don't care what other people think. So I can facilitate those kinds of conversations in a way that works for everybody. And that's okay too. It's not for everyone, but it is for some people, and I'm okay with that.
and it's beneficial to both Lost for Words and I because we're working on this ourselves. So anytime we talk, we're really talking. I guess I could talk for myself. I'm talking to myself, encouraging myself to keep going on this road, and I think I can say that for her also. Now, Miss Solo, the great thing about YouTube, I know it's not quite the same, but you can always watch the replay.
Yeah, round, round, get around, Laura. I get around. I'm like a Beach Boys
Awesome.
song, right? Take it the way you want it.
Oh.
It's not in. It's not in the not rated PG 13 variety. It's just. But
Oh.
for me, navigating social media has been, I got thrust into one community by proxy because of my fiance, and it's not my realm. I'm not passionate about it the way he is. So I made friends, and then I went out looking for new friends and other things. And so it gives you you know, a really large group of people that you can connect with on different levels about different things. So when Laura says I've been around, it's because I've met some really great people like yourself and Toyman, you know, through people like Laura Lee in chat. She introduced me to you guys months ago. And I met other people from various other communities, and we've all kind of come together in different spots. And being able to find that common pond that we can all swim in, right, to use your analogy,
Yes.
is a wonderful thing, as long as, you know, as long as the water is being refreshed and it's not stagnating. And that's kind of the way life is, you know, is finding your bigger ocean to swim in and make it work for you with the right fish.
That's right. That's great. That's great. But see how I look at it also, same idea is there have been, what do you call it? Communities, I guess I'll call it here on YouTube, where, yeah, they didn't really like how I was doing it because they want to go places that I'm not comfortable with. And this is my channel, so I figure I could do what I wish. And they didn't like that. And I'm not really invited over there, or they get kind of funky. And I thought, you know what? That's okay. I'm not here just to swim in a muddy pond. I'm here for there's a big old ocean out there. Like you say, there's huge. This YouTube thing is huge, and there's lots of people out here. So whoever is okay with how I truly am, that's who I'm going to be there for. And I'm not going to worry about the puddles left behind. They can stay in their muddy puddles. That's okay. I don't miss it.
Right. And Laura says too, she's met some wonderful people through YouTube. I have too, people that I consider to be my really closest best friends. And that's wonderful. And it doesn't negate the fact that you are going to have some negative experiences. But that's life. You're going to have negative experiences in your first world as well.
Oh yes, definitely.
Navigating it navigating those negative experiences in a larger ocean, such as a social media platform, isn't always easy. But there are islands, there are places where you can stop and rest. There are resources that you can, you know, rest, relax. It's like a vacation, and you can find those spots. You just have to not give up, right? You have to be open to the fact that you get to write your own manual. You
gotta keep swimming.
You got it. You got to keep swimming, but it's important, and the world is a lovely, beautiful place. Should you choose to view it that way.
And another thought, I mean, this is off topic really, is I want to just put a plug in saying that Toyman and I talked, and we are actually planning, because we have plans already for New Year's now, because I was going to do a 24-hour New Year's stream. Oof. And since that's not going to work now, we are actually going to do a 24-hour around Christmas stream. Now, just so you all know, we're going to start on Toyman's channel. That's the plan. He's going to make his world famous Christmas omelet. He's going to show you exactly how he makes it, and that's going to start, Toyman, what time were you going to start? Anyways, he's starting early. I think he said 9 o'clock his time, maybe. So Eastern. I think on Christmas morning, anyways, he's going to do this Christmas morning, and I will be on panel with him, and I believe he's going to have a panel so other people can be up there eventually too. And we're going to do the first 8 hours on his channel, and then we'll do the remainder of the 24 hours on my channel. So just keep that in mind, that'll be happening soon, because it's already Thursday, and so this will be happening Sunday morning then, this Sunday morning, starting on Toyman's Bar and Grill channel. Now, Toyman, if you want, you can put your channel link into the chat for anybody that does not have your channel. So if they want to come over and drool over that really yummy omelet he makes every Christmas,
Yum.
Yes, you're going to have to connect with him so you can at least see that. Come on now. And yeah, go ahead.
I was just typing in the chat. Sorry. I'm all about food porn, and my man was cooking one night, and I missed most of the stream, and I hopped in when they were making homemade pizzas, and I got to see the finished pizzas. But I'll tell you, I am so on board with that. And you've kind of created a safe space for those. We call it like Misfits Thanksgiving or Misfits, you know, Christmas. People who don't have family or don't have a place to go. Now you've got a place to go. You guys are all invited to Toyman and Fishy's 24-hour Christmas, and now everybody can hang out together. And I'm all about that, because I don't have plans on Christmas, so I might just be dropping in here and there periodically.
You can drop in. You could even come on panel.
Omelet, Toyman, because I make a killer omelet too. So I'm all about like the throwdown. Like we can talk food. I'm any day of any week we can talk about food.
So anyway, so there you go. In the chat, he has put down his channel link. So if you aren't connected, you might want to, because he's going to make a wonderful omelet. And like I say, we're going to go 8 hours there, and then it'll be like, was it 2 more or 3 more? I don't know. I'm going to split them up in 8-hour increments on my channel. The reason is YouTube, after like 10 or 12 hours, they cut off the credit or something, I believe, of viewing. And part of it, of course, I'm trying to get my watch hours up. That's part of doing this. So it'll be different streams that will let you know as time goes to, where we're at. So that, and then before we leave, I just want you all to remember this, and this is something I've learned, because being that I was kind of raised to be a people pleaser, and then I was one on my own accord for the longest time. And then you want everybody to be happy with you, but that never will happen. So remember this, build yourself up, build your boundaries, and be joyful and happy with yourself. Maybe even treat yourself. I mean, Losfer Words and I were talking that sometimes maybe we'll buy our own gift, our own pampering, our own whatever to make us happy. Why not? Because if you live your life basically on somebody else's sleeve or everybody else's sleeve, you will get disappointed. Us humans will let you down. I will let you down. Lori will let you down. You have to be your own, and we ourselves can let ourselves down, and that's hard enough. We don't want to have our emotions be like a roller coaster on one or many other people's, if they're like in good or bad moods. That's terrible. We don't know, we have no control over anything then if we let our emotions go with other people's emotions and their actions towards us. We have no control over that ever.
And my final thought on that goes with that is, and absolutely mirrors what Fishy said, is if you're looking for validation outside of yourself, your expectations, you're going to be disappointed, because you only have control over what you do. And so communicate with people, be transparent, be kind, and give yourself the grace that you are okay, that you are enough, and that you have the ability to make any change, no matter what it is, for yourself, and you can create the good life however you fit to see it, and that's really important. And Fishy and I have agreed that that's kind of both of our goals, being a better person for ourselves, and then being able to emulate that out to others. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to talk with you, Fishy, and everyone in chat about that today. And I feel good, and I feel positive and inspired by that. So thank you.
Well, I'm full of smiles. I'm feeling good. I'm hoping everybody here in the chat had a wonderful time. And like I say, we do plan to come back and do this again. And yes, leave comments below so we can, glean from that. And not only from for us here, for myself, for us doing stuff together, but then also for her to maybe think about for podcasts on her own channel. And go check her out. I know she says, no, but you really go check her out. If Fishy likes it, I think you'll like it, but you go over there and figure out. You go see.
Well, and again, the choice is yours. We just talked about that. If you like it and it resonates, then by all means, please listen to what I have to say, and feel free to comment there as well. And if you don't, that's okay too. Then swim over to a different platform and gather some new knowledge based on what you're looking for. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because that's kind of how it is for any channel here. You don't have to stay anywhere. You can go window shop. If you like it, subscribe. And if you don't, then swim away. But yeah, go look. Oh, the birdie wants to be a part of this.
Babes just said she had 2 parakeets until her father passed away. One bird was attached and the other one died about a year later. And I get it. He's a solitary, and he is my constant companion of 17 years. So I've had him longer than most relationships last, to be fair. But wow, it is what it is. I look forward to connecting with a lot of you again. I really appreciate you having me today.
I'm honored that this worked out, and I'm looking forward to our future adventures. And thank you so much for being my friend.
Oh, thank you. I love you so much. You're
I love you too. Yay! We made it 2 hours.
We did it. We did it. It went very quickly, but I appreciate it. We can stay on after you go, and we'll wrap up. But thank you again. Thanks everybody for coming. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, a wonderful weekend, And I'm hoping to see you all on Toy Man and Fishy's Christmas special.
Yes, you're all invited. But with that, then I'm going to play. Well, it was the intro, but now it'll be the outro, and then I'm gonna, close it up, and then we'll see you next time. All right.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening, and we'll see you all soon.
All right. Bye.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I'm not falling. I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and we're all going life. Still nobody knows, but I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as